Hey everyone, it's Luke from Weldpro, and today I'm back with the MIG 140 multi-process machine to show you how to set up the MIG process specifically. In order to get started, there are a couple different things you're going to need. We'll need the ground clamp that came with your machine, as well as the MIG gun and cable assembly. The MIG process requires a spool of wire, so we'll also need to unpackage and be ready to assemble the spool of wire that came with the MIG 140. To get started, the first thing we should do is to hook up our ground clamp to our machine. For the flux cord self-shielded wire application, we're going to need to run the electrode on DC negative. This will mean that our electrode holder is going to be on the negative terminal and our ground clamp is going to be on the positive terminal. Begin by inserting the connector for your ground clamp into the positive terminal on the front of the MIG 140. Once the connector is inserted, rotate clockwise approximately 90 degrees to lock it in place. The next step is to connect the MIG gun assembly as well as the trigger switch connector to the front of the MIG 140. When welding again with the self-shielded wire, we'll always be using the DC electrode negative polarity. To secure the MIG gun to the front of the MIG 140, just insert the connector similarly to the ground clamp and rotate approximately 90 degrees. This will lock it in place. The next step is to take the black 2-pin plug and connect it into the silver connector on the front of the MIG 140. This will ensure that the machine receives a signal when the switch on the MIG gun is closed. There's a ring on this connector. Be sure to tighten it down so that it doesn't fall out while you're welding. Now that we have our ground clamp and our MIG gun set up, we're ready to go ahead and set up our wire to the internals of the machine. This way it can feed to the MIG gun and we can begin the welding process. To begin installing the wire, you'll need to remove the wire spool retaining nut, spring, and washer. We do this by pushing in slightly, rotating to the left, and allowing all three pieces to release at the same time. The next step in the process is to open up the drive feed assembly. We can go ahead and flip down the spring tensioner, open the top flap, and expose the drive roll and locking mechanism below. To change or remove the drive roll, you'll simply take this 3-prong wheel located at the bottom, rotate to the left, and remove. This will allow the drive wheel to be pulled off, changed, or put back on. While we have this apart, we'll check to make sure that the drive roll is sized appropriately for the wire. So the size that's pointing out is 0.8 millimeters or 030, and that is going to give us the inside groove. So we'll go ahead and insert the drive roll with the 0.8 facing outward. We can then reinstall our drive roll retaining cap and secure it into the place with a clockwise turn. We're now ready to install the spool of wire into our machine. We want to make sure that the spool feeds from the bottom so that the wire lines up with the feed tube assembly. This is going to present our label facing inward and the black side of the spool facing outward. First, I'll reinstall the retaining washer, aligning the flat spots on the wire arbor. I then replace the spring and the lock nut by pressing in and rotating clockwise. If you haven't done so already, remove the end of the wire from the spool. We're going to take this end of the wire and feed it into this feed tube assembly located just before the drive roll. As the wire passes through the feed tube, you'll see it pass over the drive roll, and it's important to guide this directly into the liner of the MIG gun. Usually I'll feed about a foot of wire into the liner to ensure that the drive roll can take over effectively without any wire kinks. Now that the wire is fed into the liner, we can go ahead and close the top idler roller and the spring assembly to ensure that the wire is ready to be fed.